everybody. Happy Friday. It's Friday's jammies. I got my Lilo on. Lilo and Stitch, right? Hello, Shatika. Good to see you. Oh, there's Alicia B. Hey. Hi, Linda. How are you tonight? How's everybody doing? I did say hello to some people in the chat already. Hi, Sandy. If I didn't say hello to you already, I think I did. Hello, Kat. Oh, I'm so glad to see you all coming over. I know that Crystal from Bago Day was on, so you know. But this is my regularly scheduled broadcast. So, hi, Lorna. Good to see you again today. I saw you once already. Hello, Suze. I Love Labs is here. Good to see you. I hope you're feeling better tonight. Whoop, whoop. Trucker Steve's in the house. Hello. Oh, so glad you're here, everybody. There's Sharon from Sharon Creates. All right. All right, let me bring in my hands. Now, I hope that I am not as blurry, so we're going to try this and see. You guys, oops, there we go. Let's leave it like that so you can see me. You guys, just as an experiment, can everyone hear me okay? Please say okay in the chat if you can hear me okay. We do have a full house. That's awesome. I love it. Gail Apples, good to see you. All right. How fun. How fun. Awesome. So how is the picture of me? So not my hands, but gosh. Not my hands here because this is usually pretty clear, but me. How am I looking? It has been kind of still blurry. Okay. So I really think it is probably my internet that's doing that. So I am looking at there's a little thing and it's got like these little bars and there's like 3 of them and I only have 1. Yeah, that's what it's been. It's been slightly blurry, but you know, it is what it is. Hey, there's Jeannie. How are you tonight? Jeannie T, she's on the pewter. Aw, thank you, Joan. Diamond Girl, thank you so much. Yeah, it's not bad. It's just slightly off. We're working on it. I may be getting a different camera for the laptop and see if maybe we can pull the feeds closer together as far as the pixel rates and stuff. Uh-oh, look who's here. How are you tonight? Woo woo, yes, happy Friday. I'm so glad you could make it. That's Terry. It says Chris, but it's Terry. Hi, Karen. Yeah, you made it to a live. Awesome. Well, I feel like you've got the whole crew here. Y'all in your jammies? Are you drinking coffee? What you doing? I've had 2 coffees today and then I stopped and went to the water. And I have lime in my water. Yeah, we're just going to roll with it. We do have the better sound. So, hey, we're working on it, right? We're moving on up. Do. Okay, let me get my stuff. Get my stuff out. Yeah, she has not been feeling. I know. I've got Stitch on, and Chelsea was just telling me that there was a release today on Happy Planner. Y'all know I'm addicted to Happy Planner. And they had a Lilo and Stitch is going to not, they haven't released it, but they've announced it that they're going to have a whole Be Happy box with Lilo with a Stitch. Oh my, that's going to be hard to resist. Karen's in her jammies. She's got coffee, decaf coffee. Awesome. Lori had meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and green beans. That's a nice, comforting meal tonight. Sitting outside. Yeah, I'm glad it's nice enough you can sit outside tonight. It's actually not too bad out. I've been doing laundry and stuff. You know, steroids for the allergies. Got me. There's Deneen. Good to see you. And Susan made it. Yay. I even had to break out the nose spray. I get this one from Walgreens. Helping. It's helping. Everything is helping. And this I'm working on is not my blanket, but I need to do a little bit more on this cowl. Going to the lake. That sounds good. Okay, you guys, I'm going to move on into because we just have an hour. So let's look at my hands while I talk. How's that? It can be a good thing. It's got me moving. Them steroids have got me moving. So, Madeleine McCann, you can say it either way. She was taken for her room where now they say from her room. We're going to go with that because we don't really know, where she was sleeping with her twin siblings. Now, originally when I was talking about this yesterday, I was not too sure about that, but she did have she has siblings and they're twins, and that's a boy and a girl. And they were sleeping in the same room. Now, she was 3 when she was taken, and the siblings were just under 2. So, we know that the door, that it was a sliding door on the room, and that it was left unlocked. Okay. The parents claimed that they could see the room from where they were eating. Now, they had gone over to have dinner with friends. They were at this resort with a group of friends. And they were eating over at this place that they said they could see the room from there. Now, it was later, there was a lady who came in. She was a reporter, investigator type that came in and went to the spot where they were sitting, went to the place where they were staying, talked to local people, did a whole bunch of stuff. I watched a video of her, of an interview with her, and she sat at that same table where they sat, and she said you could not see the room. You could not see it. That there was a concrete wall and potted plants, like trees and plants and things that were there, and that you could not see. So, that was deceptive. It's all part how they were made to be suspects back in the time when it happened. Because the parents were not made suspects right away. Okay. Now, Maddie and the other children were in bed by around 8:30, and that's when the parents left him there to go and eat with the other people. And Maddie's mother discovered her missing around 10 p.m. Now they called in the police. Their friends came, everybody came, they all tried to find her. When they couldn't find her, they called the police. They all met in that room where she went missing. That room did not get processed. It did not get processed until much later. And they found DNA. Hello, Denise. Nothing but love. Good to see you. That's okay. We're just glad you're here. I'm so glad you came by. Thank you. Yeah, busy, right? It's a busy house with kids that little. So, uh, the parents were officially named suspects in 2007. Now, when this happened was, let me look. This happened in 2007, but they were not immediately made suspects. And the resort, it was in Praia de Luz, Portugal, is where it took place. On a part of Praia de Luz, the town was called Praia de Luz, but a part of Portugal that's called Algarve. Now, I am not saying that right. That's just how I'm reading that name. Oh, I appreciate that. Now, in that room, when they did go back and start to check out the room, they found some DNA, which they thought initially meant that something had happened to Madeleine in the room and that she was dead. But what had happened was they misinterpreted the actual DNA they found. So they misinterpreted what the DNA was telling them. It was not telling them that she was dead. Now, the status of the parents changed in 2008 because the case was archived by the officials in Portugal. And the parents had used a private detective. From the time that this all started, there was not an official, even though the police came by and all of that stuff, there was not an actual investigation that was being done. So they had hired a private investigator to come in and look at everything. And then Scotland Yard became involved in 2008 and no, 2013. 2011. I'll get my story straight. Scotland Yard became involved in 2011, but in 2013 they actually released an image of a man who was carrying a small child down to the beach. Now, one of the friends that was with the McCanns at the time, her name was Jane, and she was a wife of another doctor, and she gave an eyewitness testimony that she saw this man carrying a small child towards the beach. But the problem was, every time they went back and interviewed her, she changed her story. But they did have an image showing this. So that's the best evidence, real good evidence they had. Now, the parents, who are Kate and Jerry, were both born in 1968, born near Liverpool, and she was a doctor. She started with obstetrics and gynecology and then moved into general practice. Her husband, Jerry, was born in Glasgow, and he got a BS in physiology and sports medicine. Remember, I thought there was some sports medicine in there. It's a cowl. I'm making a cowl, and this is going to have the paw print on it. It's a thank you, Joyce. Hey, Sauna, how you doing? Good to see you. This is a commission, and I've already got the hat done. Now I need to finish the cowl. So Jerry started in sports medicine, and then he obtained his MD's license in 2002, and he's now a consultant cardiologist. Now, it was said that the parents may have been using Benadryl or something like it to put the kids to sleep so that they could go, just because, and that some of the other parents were doing that. I did not actually find that anywhere, but that was said at some point. And the 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 people that were with them, they called them the Tapas Seven because they met at the Tapas restaurant. And oh my goodness, Denise, do you sew? I'm looking to have a blanket made for my 2 sons that passed away, and I need someone to do it for me. I will have to think on that as to who to get you to do that for you. I may know a few people. Let me get you some flashy. Thank you so very much. That is so, so appreciated. You don't know. It just is so appreciated. But I will think on that as to who. Maybe somebody here in the chat knows someone who might take that on too. Oh, so now he's a professor of cardiology. Okay. Yeah. I may have some older information. Thank you so very much. Yeah, with the pictures. I was thinking that's what you meant. So like to have their pictures in a block. Yeah. Oh, you're so sweet. I know it. You're okay. It's okay. It was a good spot. I need to take a drink anyway. Does anybody have anything to add to what I have said so far about this case? If you know anything more about it. Well, see there, and I can get in contact with Sharon. So if you want to email me at fiberflooziecrafts@gmail.com, then I can certainly see what I can do. Hi, Mrs. Kelly. Oh, darn it. Yeah. Oh, and you have a cold. Ugh. I have been working on these dang allergies, but I'm getting there. I think I'm getting a hold of them now. Okay, what did I miss? Yes, please do hit the thumbs up for me, please. And if you, I wanted to say thank you to anyone who is watching and lurking. I appreciate my lurkers too. Okay. So the all of these people that were with them were basically lawyers and their wives, and there was one mother of a couple that was there with them. And they came up with the story saying that they were going back and forth from the restaurant over to the rooms to the over to the rooms where the children were sleeping every 30 minutes and checking on them. And the waitress, oh, thank you, Sana. Thank you. Oh, thank you for that super sticker. Let me get you a dance. I appreciate that so much. Thank you so much. Oh, working and listening. Oh, Joyce is still at work. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, I think it is too. I think there's a lot of allergy stuff going on. Thank you so much for your super chats and super stickers, you guys. So these parents, you know, the wait staff at this restaurant was like not following the same observation about these parents getting up and down from the table because, you would think that that would be noticed, right? And I mean, normally when I go to have something to eat or go out, we're done in about 45 minutes to an hour. So this whole thing about every 30 minutes kind of seemed kind of hooky to me. And I got to thinking about it, and to me, now this is my personal opinion, right? There's that too. And listen, there was a babysitter at the resort available to them that they did not use. Didn't use them. Aw. Hi, Mo. Yes, so I wanted to bring that up because they were trying to bring up charges on someone because of that. So the statute in Portugal was up after 15 years, okay? Now, there is no statute limitation for it in Germany, but this happened in Portugal. There's a 15-year. Hello, Jean. Yeah, so I'm guessing that it was like, you know, they must have had like different courses, like, something to get started, and then they had their dinner, and then they had like drinks, and just like spending 3 or 4 hours there, because that's the only way I can figure they would need to go back and forth every 30 minutes to do that, you know? Yeah. I always had trouble leaving my kids anywhere, even if they're grandparents sometimes. Yeah, I think that's a part of it too, is that it can take that. I know that there was a place that my parents and I went to eat, was in Germany, okay? And you were lucky to get a table there because those tables stayed all night. They just didn't the tables didn't turn over like they do in the States. At least most of the places in the States I've been. Yes, there was proof there. Absolutely. Well, it depends on so Diamond Girl saying she can't understand why only one child was taken, but here's the thing. They're thinking it might have been an opportunity thing. So in other words, it's possible that Madeline got up, and since the door was unlocked, that she went out the door and went looking for her parents. Because you know what kids do when they get up and maybe they have a bad dream, or they just get up and they want to have a drink or something, they go looking for their parents. They think that it's possible that she went out in the night to go looking for her parents, and it was an opportunity thing that someone grabbed her at that time. That's really what they think happened. Hello, Shirley. Yes. Yeah, an event. Exactly. Meals are an event over there. Yes, and they do have age. You're right. Sex offenders have age preferences. And so the younger ones might not have been of the age that they were looking for. Because, all right. Oh, man. That is rough. Having all of those in 1 year. I understand that. We had a bit of that here also. But that's hard. My heart goes out to you. Yes. Yes, exactly. That's exactly. It was a so there, and they have a picture actually of her being of a child being taken by a man. Ah, so I haven't seen that anywhere, Karen, that she was crying and nobody checked on her. Hello, Sylvia. She has never been found. Today she would be 19 years old, Lori. She would be 19 years old. Okay, now let me bring up who they're recently, and I played this, but I kind of would like to play it again. Hold on. Oh, now I gotta find it. Look, I'm live. Oh, oops, wrong place. They have new evidence, okay, that has just recently came out. Now, this is from May 6th. I've seen stuff from April and from May both. A German prosecutor says he is sure that Madeleine McCann, the British girl who disappeared from a resort in Portugal in 2007 at the age of 3, was killed by suspect Christian Bruckner. Hans Christian Wolters, who is investigating the case, told Portuguese broadcaster CMTV on Tuesday that investigators had found new evidence. Let's see. I think I played this. You know, they got to play this beforehand. Hold on. Well, I don't want the ad. Hello, knitting artisan. Good to see you. I'm glad you made it tonight. Oh, here we go.
Daddy, brother and sister. Just hours after Madeleine McCann vanished, her parents pleaded for her safe return. Madeleine was just days shy of her 4th birthday when she disappeared in the small fishing village of Praia de Luz in Portugal. It was May 2007. We beg you to let Madeleine come home. Madeleine did not come home. And now, 15 years later, prosecutors say they believe Madeleine is dead and that they know who killed her. German prosecutor Hans Christian Wolters told Portuguese broadcaster CMTV that investigators had found.
See? My internet.
New evidence that connects this man, Christian Bruckner, to Madeleine's disappearance. Bruckner is a convicted rapist and child sex abuser.
It is true that you find something belonging to Madeleine in the caravan of Christian Bruckner.
To the details of the investigations, I can not give you a command.
Well, you can't deny it, can you?
I don't want to deny it.
The prosecutor told CMTV he assured Bruckner, quote, is the murderer. The night Madeleine disappeared, Kate and Jerry McCann had left her and their twins sleeping alone in the apartment while they had dinner nearby with friends. They were on property just yards away and said they checked on the kids every half hour. When Madeleine was discovered missing, a search began, but the crime scene was never properly secured.
Windows were closed. Doors were open and shut. They were searching for a child. They weren't worrying about preserving evidence.
That's
On corner
5A.
We met private investigator Julian Parabanes in Portugal back in 2017 while shooting a documentary on this case. He says the location of the McCann's vacation flat put the family at risk.
What made this apartment 5A more vulnerable than some of the others in the complex?
Well, it makes it more vulnerable because it's in the corner and there's a lot of places that you can be watching the apartment without being noticed.
Madeleine's face was broadcast around the world.
Please give our little girl back.
But even as tips poured in, investigators zeroed in on Kate and Jerry McCann. Cadaver dogs alerted to blood in the McCann's apartment, and just 4 months after their daughter disappeared, the McCanns were officially named suspects. Then a year later, the Portuguese Attorney General closed the case and cleared them. A few years after that, Scotland Yard announced they would re-examine the case. Turns out, between 2004 and 2010, a string of sexual assaults were reported in the area where Madeleine disappeared.
Almost always houses or apartments that were rented or owned by British people with young children.
Prosecutors first announced the suspect Christian Bruckner's alleged involvement back in 2020. Bruckner is German but lived in that resort town in Portugal from 1995 until 2007. He has not been officially charged in Madeleine's case and has denied any wrongdoing. He told investigators he'd been with his then-girlfriend the night Madeleine vanished, but the prosecutor told CMTV that Bruckner has no alibi. He is currently in jail in Germany for raping a woman in the same area where Madeleine disappeared. 15 years later, and still no sign of Madeleine or her remains.
All right. So that kind of gets you up to date a little bit on there. There we go. So the suspect, his name is Christian Bruckner. German investigators, the one who started in 2020, and his name is Hans Christian Walters, says he has new evidence which incriminates Bruckner. Okay, so he says he's got some facts and some new evidence, and he says we are sure Bruckner is the murderer of Madeleine. Now, there's possibility that there is evidence that was found in a camper van that was used by Bruckner. And this evidence is not just DNA. There are clothing items and things that they think. Now, he is currently in prison in Germany, I believe, for raping a woman who lived in the vicinity of where Madeleine was taken. So he raped a woman who was they called her a pensioner. So in other words, she was on like Social Security, someone who is a Social Security benefits person. They called her a pensioner. So she was older. He is in this country, he would be a registered sex offender. He is also has charges on him, of drug trafficking. He previously said that he had an alibi. Well, that's been proven wrong. It was a girl. They questioned this girl and they found out that it wasn't really true. Oh, did you see somewhere there was computer evidence? Okay. I know it. Yep. I know it. Yeah, a BAD man, absolutely a bad man. Sexual offenders typically have an age preference. Yes. It doesn't make sense, but this guy was constantly. So here's what they're thinking, though. Drug trafficker could also possibly have been a child trafficker, because there is some evidence that he had spoken to someone and traded her off to someone. So that is what they're kind of thinking has happened, but it happened in his van, or somewhere else. They dug places in some places that were related to him also. They dug up the ground in some places too. Hello, Irene. Hello, Kaz. Good morning. So there is a 15-year statute of limitations in Portugal. So having named a suspect, officially named a suspect, is hopefully going to stop the time limit now on the case in Portugal. They also have evidence that this guy confessed to a friend that he had done something with her, and also that they have cell phone records which put him in that area on the night within 45 minutes of when she disappeared. So there is an awful lot of evidence against this guy. I don't know. They're just different places have different things, Alicia B. Different things. I don't know. Maybe that's how they handle the backlog. I'm guessing that's how they handle the backlog. Now, somebody asked me, I believe there was a question about the Terra blanket. And the Terra blanket instructions on how to make that blanket are below my videos, my live videos. There was one where you can see Terra's picture on it, and that one was the first video. And then there was a round table which had updates on the Terra Grinstead case, and there were instructions also below that video. So if you're looking for how to make the Terra blanket, that's where you can find those instructions. They are written below. They were mad. Okay, and I wanted to touch on that too. Thank you for bringing that up, because the parents and the friends were very weird about all of it. And I know, Knitting Artisan, that you are also a fan of the behavior panelists, and they did a video on this case, and they felt there was deception with the parents. They felt there was something going on between the parents, some tension between the parents, and that there was some deception. And I got to thinking about this, and here's what I think. I kind of think that some of it is because they have two other children. If they were to be brought up on neglect charges, they could lose those other children. And all of them being that they were all doctors and there was one lawyer, um, they'd all be subject to scrutiny about how they did this and didn't use the babysitter, didn't the neglect charges. They didn't want to lose their kids. I think that was part of all of that deception that was going on. Can't prove it, don't know, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. And it is possible he wants to, but here's what he's saying, Alicia B. This Hans Christian Walters is saying that they've got stuff, but it's kind of like the Delphi murders. They don't want to let much of it out because they want it to stick when they go to court. And he's already in jail, so he's not going anywhere right now. They want to make sure they get all of this stuff so that they can prosecute properly. That's what they're saying. Are you? It is so much fun. I think that's one that we could make over and over again and so many things. I'm glad you're enjoying that. Hello, Laura. No, I haven't seen that yet. Where can you tell me where that was? Is that in, because I have been going through the Netflix series on it, The Disappearance of Maddie. Is it during that you hear, or did you see it somewhere else? Yeah, kind of that, but it also can make or break a career, Denny. Cases like this can make and break careers for people, so that may be part of it too. Right. And it could just be like what Karen was saying about it, was that possibly to make sure that the case wouldn't like to the statute of limitations on it. If they actually have a suspect, that's new evidence, new things that they can talk about. My hair is kind of a mess. I washed it and didn't do anything with it. So those of you who come to see the hair, it is what it is. Hi, Mary. Good to see you. So that's what I've got so far on this case. I am still looking at, and the whole reason that I brought this case up, because I know it is an old case, but I wanted to go over it because oh no. Did she? Okay. Oh, Peter Hyatt. Okay. I'll have to look through Peter Hyatt's, because I've been trying to catch up on a few things of his lately on other stuff, but I'll have to look for this one. Thank you. Thank you, Jean. So I did touch on this yesterday, and I was talking about, we've been talking a little bit about body language lately. We've been talking about the hard and the soft targets and body language. So I wanted to play a video for you guys if you are up for it. Let's see. Trying to figure out about I'm going to have to. Oh, and before I do that, does anyone want to see the press conference about the Gonzalo Lopez case? It has come to an end. Is anyone interested in watching the press conference? Have you all watched the press conference? I can tell you that when I was on live yesterday, there had been absolutely nothing nothing about the Gonzalo Lopez case. Absolutely nothing. And then all of a sudden, yesterday it breaks that there's all kinds of stuff going on in that area, and they had found, and I had been waiting for this, actually had been expecting that this was going to happen. Yes. Yeah, Duty Ron's going to be talking about it some more tonight, I believe, and he had a lot on this. But let me go ahead and play this, see if it'll play with my
received information that Gonzalo Lopez
there we go.
has been captured and is deceased. The details are still coming in at this time, but this is what we know. So just a few minutes ago, Lopez was spotted driving that Chevy Silverado pickup. That information had gone out across Texas, and it was actually law enforcement in Atascosa County that spotted Gonzalo Lopez driving that Chevy Silverado. At that time, they trailed Gonzalo, and then ultimately the tires were spiked on that vehicle. After a short chase and a crash, Gonzalo Lopez exited the Chevy Silverado with a firearm and engaged law enforcement officers who engaged back and ultimately killed Lopez. Again, Gonzalo Lopez has been captured and he is deceased. Any other questions? We believe that this happened probably about 30 minutes ago or so. Fortunately, no law enforcement officers were struck. It's my understanding he fired several rounds at officers and was armed with an AR-15 and a pistol, and I believe multiple officers engaged Lopez, ultimately shooting and killing him.
Yes, Lori, this one is about the inmate. So he has been captured and killed.
I don't know exactly. I know it happened in Atascosa County, and I believe the name of the town is Jerdington. That could be a mispronunciation by me, but it's in Atascosa County, and that's where ultimately Jerdington to connect is where ultimately the interaction took place. It's an assumption at this point, but given that he was in the vehicle that was taken from this residence, it's likely that those firearms came from this residence. Actual shootout. It's my understanding that it did happen in a residential area. That after crashing, I believe, into a tree, Lopez exited out of the vehicle and only made it a short amount of distance before he decided to engage officers. And thankfully, for the swift action of those officers, they were able to take Lopez into custody. I know that a bolo went out across the state, and so they were certainly cognizant of South Texas and the San Antonio area because he had previous contacts in that area. And it's our understanding that law enforcement spotted that vehicle on a roadway, and the license plate matched the bolo, and so that's when they began to tail Lopez in that vehicle. Ultimately, that vehicle was spiked after a short chase in which Lopez crashed out and decided to engage law enforcement officers, and those officers very swiftly shot and killed Lopez, bringing this whole ordeal to an end. I don't know specifically what weapons he used, but I do know that he was armed with a rifle and a handgun. Sure. So it's something that the Texas Rangers will be leading up that investigation, along with our Office of Inspector General, who will be closely involved in that investigation. I can tell you that they're still at the scene at this moment. So Lopez is deceased. Law enforcement is there. They're processing that scene as we speak, and so there's some information that I just don't have at the moment. I do want to take a moment, though, and really thank law enforcement. Leon County Sheriff has been extraordinary and continues to be. Our partners at DPS, the Office of Inspector General, U.S. Marshals, just so many different law enforcement agencies contributed to this, and just very thankful for all of the support that they have provided.
And just so you know, this man who we hear talking right now doing this press conference, he gave the one earlier in the day when they found those bodies and put the bolo out on this vehicle. Hello, Verna, and welcome back. Nothing but love. Welcome back. So he did a press conference then, and he did this one, and this guy is the head of the TDJC, so the Texas Department of Corrections. He's the head guy, and he's doing the press conference. So he's saving butt is what he's doing.
I'm thankful that this came to a resolution in which Lopez did not harm anyone else. I can just tell you that we are very saddened that the murders happened, but I will tell you that we are breathing a sigh of relief that Lopez will not be able to hurt anyone else.
So just to get you up to date on that, yeah, taken into custody. I thought that was strange too. It's not what happened. Yeah, that's exactly right. That was a weird way to say that too. I guess that's what they're considering it. I don't know. I thought that sounded weird too myself. Yes, Duty Ron had the Tiepermans on, and probably will have them on again tonight. While that is true, I'm trying really hard right now because there's been a lot of Texas bashing in the last few days, and I'm not too happy about it. So I'm just going to say, and I'm not from Texas, but I don't want to throw everybody under the bus right now exactly, because while there were mistakes made, everyone is trying to say that the state of Texas is a mess, and there are some messes going on, but this is Houston, you guys. Just remember Houston, which is probably the biggest city in Texas, and Texas is a big state. So you can't blame all of one area on the entire state. I'm just saying, keep it in perspective. Now, to get you caught up on what happened, the reason they found this guy is that someone could not get a hold of their loved ones, okay? And they got a hold of officials, and they asked them to go and check on them. And those loved ones, they found them in that home, and it was less than a mile from where the bus crashed, which just, I'm trying to figure out how in the world that this guy managed to do this. They had searched that house, and then obviously he realized that they had left that house, and he went in. And those people knew that things had been going on in that, but they left, he was moving around and had not left, which I would have told you he was in Mexico by now. I'm really amazed that he was even still in the area. Those people did not come in until I think yesterday or the day before. So they felt like everybody else that he might have left, and they decided to come up. This is a weekend home. They came up for the weekend. It was 2 adults and 3 children. Now they're saying 1 adult and 4 children, but I think it's possible that one of the children was an older child that they could consider an adult. So don't really know. They have not released the ages and all of that of them yet. So he killed all of them. He took their guns, he took their vehicle, and he took off, and then they caught him. I was too, Karen. Honestly, I was. And I think it's terrible. No, and listen, I'm not, you know, giving anybody a hard time that feels this way. I feel like all of you, the ball was dropped here. It definitely was. And they're going to have to do something, because they're going to have to figure out where the problems are for sure. So,
As I said earlier, we will conduct a serious incident review. Anytime you have something serious like this, it's incumbent upon us to go backwards to figure out, how did he escape? How did he beat our security protocols in order to leave that transport vehicle? And so that's something that we absolutely will be doing. We will uncover how he did it, and then make any adjustments that are necessary.
yes.
Absolutely. Gonzalo Lopez had a history of trying to elude law enforcement. And so we knew from his records that previously he had stayed out in the wilderness for quite some time. And so that's why we remained in this area, because we did not have evidence that put him out of this area. I will tell you that obviously U.S. Marshals and Texas Rangers and our Office of Inspector General were closely monitoring any contacts that he had ever had in the free world to see if he had contacted them, reached out to them. And that was very unsuccessful. And so we still had a thought that he could be in this area, and that's why we continue to have a presence in this area. And it wasn't until this afternoon that it became clear that he remained in this area. Frankly, it's just too early to tell. We do believe that the victims were there today. It's unclear whether Lopez was already there or was casing the structure and just waiting for someone to come in. I will just, again, it is.
Thank you, Karen. Have a good night.
I will say that this is an absolute tragedy. The fact that 4 individuals, I would say that this is a tragedy that you had 5 individuals.
Okay. I think that's enough of that one. Yes, they think that he took those from. Yes. Could be. It's possible that he killed them. We don't have any news on how they were killed or anything like that. Oh, she had surgery. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. I hope she's doing well. Yeah, I know. Why would he do that? Why kids? Why not just lock them up somewhere? It's my thing about these 5 people were in his way, you guys. They were in his way.
People that are supremely.
That's our next one we're going to be talking about here in just a minute. So, for murder. He was in for murder. He killed someone with a pickaxe. And I believe that he either killed or injured a corrections officer. Oh, this This is the one you were trying to change the way that she was eating. Well, I hope everything is well. Hello, Donna. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I know that they said that when he escaped before, that he was able to elude them for quite a while. Like he was out there for like a couple of weeks then. So it fits that he was out for a couple of weeks. This has been 3 weeks as of yesterday. 3 weeks. So, yes. Sending hugs for both of you. For anybody who needs them, send in hugs. Absolutely. I think he wanted to get out of there. Yeah, I think he wanted to get out of here. No, he did not. When he was escaping the bus, he did not kill anybody at that time. He stabbed him with whatever shank he had. He did. Oh yeah. This was not his first time escaping. Mm-mm. 9 days. Okay. I wasn't sure. I was thinking it was a couple of weeks. Wow. And there are others. Duty Ron talked about this. We have other ones that are loose right now. But, we talked about the body language thing. So I wanted to play this for you guys. I'm going to hang on to it, and I'll probably play it for you again. But I really wanted to get this out to you guys and touch on it. I know Duty Ron is probably going live anytime now. And Alicia B, if you need to go, I understand. It's up to you. But this thing is only... I'll play, here's what we'll do. We'll play a little snip of it, and then we'll come back and do another episode where we will talk more about it. How does that sound? That's okay, Cheryl. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'll have to call you and get updated on that. Yes, exactly. So let me play this for you guys. I think this is really interesting about...
When they enter the room, they feel comfortable in that room. They don't hesitate to look around. Their gestures are smooth, but they're very broad. And that has to do with confidence. And for a lot of people, this is very difficult. I remember the great actress Helen Mirren saying, one of the most difficult things to learn as an actress is how to walk onto a scene. I've thought about that even in my career, how early on, the difficulty of mastering that. How do you walk onto a crime scene? How do you walk into the public and demonstrate that I am confident and so forth? We can all work a little bit on our nonverbal so we come across as more confident. When we talk about confidence, it's so many things. It has to do with our posture, the way we present, how we look. Where's our chin? Where are the eyes looking and gazing? Our gestures are loose, but they're smoother. As we walk about, we walk as though we are on a mission. I'm walking out to shake your hand, or I'm walking out to a podium, or I'm walking to where I'm going to sit. So the less confident we are, the less eye contact we make. The less confident we are, the more reluctant we are to look about. When I look at someone I admire, like Colin Powell, when he walks onto a stage, even before he speaks, he has total command of the room. And he does that because he brings two things into this equation. One is a tremendous amount of knowledge and experience. Plus, he has shaped and defined himself into a statesman.
You got to think of America as a family, where every member of the family cares about every other member of the family.
I think sometimes people mistake machismo or theatrical displays of power as confidence. Confidence can be very quiet. Jane Goodall. Here's this ethologist, very meek, very mild, and yet wherever she goes, she commands the room. One of the things you notice is they sort of have this command of themselves, and in doing so, that command transmits outward. The other thing that confident people realize is the temporal aspect of leadership. If you're in charge of time. I'm going to take my time to walk out. I'm going to take my time to answer your question. I will answer it in the pace, manner, and tone that I choose. And in doing that, we are demonstrating that we are confident and in control. Where do we get that confident voice?
Okay. Yeah, he was, Mr. Yeah, very much so. Does anybody want me to keep going with this? Because we're only 3 minutes in. It's got another 10 minutes or so to go. I can keep going if you'd like to. Waiting on my internet to bring me your answers because it's so slow right now. Oh my goodness. My internet's being so slow. Yeah, that one was kind of, Putin's kind of got a swagger, huh? Is that what you're saying, Alicia B? I felt like he had kind of a swagger. Okay, well, I'm over my hour that I had wanted to do anyway. So I just wanted you to know one of those things we'll probably be talking more about. Oh, you could? Oh. I will send you the link though, Lori, if you would like to watch this. And I will be showing it though. See, it's not wanting to get me out of it.
We get those confident.
There it goes. It didn't want to let me out of it, so. But I will definitely send you the link. Like a stagger? Yeah, he did. He kind of went back and forth. Oh, walking fast. Okay. Yeah. I was calling it swagger, but y'all are calling it something different. Now, what does it see? See, now everybody's curious. Legend in his own mind. Okay, now we got to wait for what Alicia's going to say. Okay. Well, I'm just about discomfort. It says he's uncomfortable. When he comes in the room, he's not comfortable. Okay. Interesting. Oh. Well, I can finish playing it. I do need to go and go to the little girl's room. Let me see. I still got it on there? Let me play just a little bit more for you while I take a little bit of a break, and I will be right back. I'll play just a little bit more for you.
Gestures. This is what's called socialization.
Oh, hold on.
We noticed
Where? Right here. I think this is where Putin comes in the room. Here you go.
People mistake machismo or theatrical displays of power as confidence. confidence can be very quiet. Jane Goodall, here's this ethologist, very meek, very mild, and yet wherever she goes, she commands the room. One of the things you notice is they sort of have this command of themselves, and in doing so, that command transmits outward. The other thing that confident people realize is the temporal aspect of leadership. If you're in charge of time. I'm going to take my time to walk out. I'm going to take my time to answer your question. I will answer it in the pace, manner, and tone that I choose. And in doing that, we are demonstrating that we are confident and in control. Where do we get that confident voice? Where do we get those confident gestures? This is what's called socialization. We notice the principal who acts this way. We like this leader because of this or that trait. So I try to model their behaviors and say, this is a shortcut. And if I have to work on my vocabulary, that's what high status people do. If I have to change my gestures to fit in this society, and then that's what I'm going to have to do. That doesn't mean it changes me completely. It just means that this is what is required of me, and this is what I want to achieve at this moment in time. I think of Cary Grant. Here's an individual born in the UK, grew up very poor, and as he said in his biography, I became Cary Grant. I adopted all the behaviors that I saw from high status individuals.
Just think about that. Make up your mind.
And it is difficult to prescribe this, but one of the easiest things that we can do, if you're a woman, maybe you want to model yourself on the actress Kate Blanchett or some other actor and say, when they're being interviewed, how do they look? They look so confident. They look interesting. They have such a command presence. We're not born this way. These are things that we have to develop and say, how do I want to be perceived? And what can I do to achieve that? Are there better behaviors that you can do? Here's a simple one. How many of you, somebody says, where'd they go? And you go like this. And as it turns out, this is one of the most hated signs around the world. And yet, if we just go like this, he went that way, we're already perceived differently. Little things. I tell the story often of when I first came into law enforcement. They said, well, you got to get out there and make some arrests. And the first time I went out there and my voice just went really high, stop, you're under arrest. That sounds horrible. And you have to work at having that command presence where you say, stop right there. Don't move. That's almost theatrical, yeah, but it's what is needed. So let's do this exercise. I want you to say no. Just go ahead, say it out loud. All right, now let's do it right. Say it as I say it. No. 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 You see the difference between the way you said it and this way? Did you notice that your voice kept getting deeper? But did you also notice that the fingers became wider and wider? The more confident you became, the wider your fingers were spreading. There's a big difference between saying no, stop, and going no, stop. This potentiates the message. But to get to this, we actually have to practice it. So let's do it again.
No.
Now go out there and teach your children how to do that.
I love sometimes selfies in the mirror.
One of my pet peeves is what we hear every day with what's called uptalk. Uptalk is where someone says something and then they end making it sound like a question mark. So it sounds like this.
The manner of speaking in which declarative sentences are uttered with rising intonation at the end, as if they were questions.
7 years ago, 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent, our fathers brought forth upon this continent a new nation. My company has done research on this, and we've asked CEOs and we've asked executives, and some will say, well, I've gotten used to it and so forth. But when we ask them, does it really matter? They also, yeah, we'd rather not see it. I get pushback from people that say, well, this is just the way that I speak, and no doubt, but don't expect the same results.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills.
The cadence in our speech is extremely powerful for a couple of reasons. One, we know that when people machine gun a statement, when they talk very fast, we are less likely to listen to them over a long period of time. But when we talk in cadence, we are sort of held still listening to what will come next. And I'll give you an example from that great speech Martin Luther King gave. As you notice with the cadence, I have a dream.
I have a dream.
And then he pauses. That one day.
One
And then he goes on. And Churchill used the same thing. Churchill's notes literally would create spaces for how long he would pause.
From Stettin in the Baltic to
Yes, that's kind of what I was wanting to lead into this series with you guys, talking about the soft and hard targets, was that it's the confidence when you come into a room, or you're out shopping or whatever you're doing, as long as you're not distracted and you're showing that you are paying attention, you're being, or the confidence of not being distracted as well, that helps. But that will help you be less of a target. Those are the kind of things that we're trying to get to on this.
Trieste in the Adriatic. An iron curtain has descended across the continent.
These pauses make people listen. And one of the things that we teach is, if you want people to listen to you, use cadence to get their attention, hold their attention, but then look forward to what that next set of words will be. It lets them know at a subconscious level, this is the person in charge. And we know that they're in charge because they have temporal control over this. They're not in a hurry. So, a lot of times people say to me, well, does confidence look like, chest out, shoulders back, chin up? Yeah, that looks pretty good. But, a lot of times confidence is just sitting comfortably in a chair. And that may have more to do with how much space you control. It may have to do with the gestures that you use. You probably noticed that I use a lot of steepling. I tend to interlace my fingers and so forth. These are gestures that contribute to that communication that I'm trying to get across, that I am confident about what I'm talking about. So it's not just about puffing your chest out, or certainly not about talking louder or anything. It's about controlling my environment, but making sure that what I'm transmitting at all times is confidence. And that means I'm prepared. I'm ready to answer. I'm going to answer you now. I'm going to answer you effectively. And I'm going to make sure that you understand what I said. I'm here to convey. I'm not here to convince. A lot of times people who are lacking confidence are trying to convince you of something. Hey, if I'm confident, I just say it once. It's this way and that's it. I convey the information rather than sit there and try to beat it into you by repeating it 10 different ways. Compare the gestures I'm about to do. It's about temporal movement, controlling time, so the person in charge has the time to look up at their own pace. The gestures are smooth. There's no hesitation. There's no quick movements. There's no jitteriness. It doesn't have to be. I'm in charge. When I feel less confident, I feel like I have to be in a hurry, that I've got to look up and I've got to answer right away. And there's a lot of preening behaviors, and these are detracting from me.
I was really shy a few years ago. This is changing a little bit.
People are horrified to speak in public. I used to be horrified to speak in public. I still get nervous to speak in public. But here's some tricks I found that you might find useful. The first one is, don't hesitate ever to say, you know what, this is scary. Be honest with yourself. This is unnatural. Number two, take refuge in knowing that if I sit down and study this material, I will know it better than my audience. The third thing I always do is I rehearse. It really helps so that the first time you hear it in a forum, it doesn't scare you. When it's time to do the presentation, one of the things I like to do is to warm up. I find a good solid wall and I will just lean into it like I'm holding this wall up, pressing against it just as if I were doing a push-up. And one of the things that does is it releases a lot of muscular tension. And because I'm doing it very wide, it makes me feel more powerful. And I need to walk on that stage as though it's mine.
That's an interesting exercise. That releasing the tension, I've heard of lots of different ways of doing that. If you are public speaking, I've heard there's a lot of different ways to release that tension when you are public speaking. So that's an interesting exercise. And you guys know, I've been taking notes before I talk to you, and that helps me because by writing that down, it helps me to know the information as well before I bring it to you. So that's very interesting. Right. So you can have all the body language. Well, you can have some of those things, but the minute you start speak, so his speech, the way that he presented himself when he talked was totally different. That's interesting too. Yeah. Hello, Christy. Good to see you. Good to see you. Okay, we're almost done with this, guys.
With full confidence, it is only then that I look at my audience. And then I just take a second to get myself together and to begin. With practice, obviously you're going to get better and better and better. Let's face it, people are not born confident. They're just not. We can become confident with the assistance of our parents who encourage us. We can become confident through our own achievements. We can become confident by going beyond our boundaries. But confidence is something that we can grow. We can nurture. I mean, I have seen people in wheelchairs that are supremely confident. I have seen elderly people in their 90s who are very confident. I've seen children who are holding a violin with such confidence. If you want to be confident, know your material, know the information, hone that skill, work at it, have that mastery of things and of self, and that's how you will come across as confident, no matter what your station in life is.
Okay. There we go. So that was interesting, right? Yeah, and I know personality does come into play. The tone and pitch, yep. Charisma, mm-hmm. Yeah, and I noticed that he had a video where he was critiquing himself too. Absolutely. But what I wanted you guys to see, just as a that's like a beginner of this, is that the way you come into the room, the way that you carry yourself has a lot to do with whether people think of you as a target. So we will be looking for more videos, more ways to hopefully show you guys what we're talking about. But I brought up yesterday about the wolf, the sheep, the wolf, and the sheepdog as a reference for this, which was the sheep is the prey, the wolf is the predator, and the sheepdog is the watcher. Okay, what you want to start to do is to be more aware how you're carrying yourself, and also more observant. Start to be more observant about your, the head on the swivel. Oh, Ted Bundy was very charismatic. Hi, Christy. I was saying hi to you. You were in the ads. Yes, and Duty Ron will be on again here in a little while. He's going to have more stuff on the what I talked about earlier. But so I hope you guys have enjoyed this. So glad to have spent my Friday evening with you. You came in kind of late. We're about to yes, know your material. Yes. Yes, it's good to see you too. We're about to head it out. Thank you for watching the ads. I hope you weren't in there for too long. Y'all remember 30 seconds is the rule. So if you get more than 1 or 2 ads at 10 to 15 seconds, you have to watch those. But if the ad runs more than 30 seconds, you only have to watch 30 seconds of it for it to count as a view for revenue. So just so you know. And I have not mentioned this, you guys, because I'm not big on that. I had those super chats tonight, and I'm so very thankful for it. But I was given the opportunity to add the super thanks. So that is going to be down at the bottom of the video after a video is played, where if you wanted to do, it's just like a super chat, you could do a super thanks. It's there. I just want to tell y'all it's there. Not asking anybody to do anything. I'm very thankful for everything. It's all helping to go towards, I was able to get a new microphone. I may get a new camera. We'll see how that goes, but it all goes back into what I'm doing here. So it's all very, very much appreciated. Very much appreciated. That's okay, Sue. I'm so glad you came by, and I appreciate it. And you guys, don't forget to go and watch last night's, because there's some special content in there that you don't want to miss. Absolutely, Donna. Absolutely. I really want to give you guys something more than just the fiber. I want to be able to do more than just that. That's okay, Cheryl. I'm glad you were here. Well, maybe we'll give you some good information where you will learn from your mistakes, right? Hopefully. Okay. I will see you guys back again on Sunday. And maybe I will have some more on the seeing double shawl. Not really sure just yet what the agenda is for Sunday, but I will see you then. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Thank you again for being here with me. And have fun today, you guys. And get any questions at all, you can reach me at fiberflooziecrafts@gmail.com. So have a great night, and thank you all for being here. Good night, everybody.